the Berkeley training program. Tell me about that. Tell me how they teach you to coach.
Yeah. I didn't wake up one morning and have a fire to become an executive coach. But over the course of my career, there have been certain points where I've listened to a voice in my head tell me that I should look at other alternatives. For example, after business school, I went into banking. I worked for Citi for 4 years in New York. And in year 2 of 4, I recognized what I loved and valued about my work in the corporate and investment bank, and what wasn't totally gratifying. I got to work on the global stage. I loved the intellectual challenge of the work itself. I loved the globality, the fact that I rotated through different pieces of the business, and that offered the opportunity to live and work in different geographies. But for me, as someone who started out in marketing and is a much more kind of conceptual thinker, I missed the creativity I didn't miss my role as a brand manager in consumer packaged goods, but I missed exercising that side of my brain. And so I took a weekend to figure out what I really wanted to be when I grow up. And at the
Just
time,
a weekend?
At the time, I was reminded how much I love music. Made a bet on myself and decided I wanted to transition out of banking into the music industry, even as it was collapsing on itself. This is at the dawn of Napster and right. But if you love inefficient markets, anyway, I listened to that and took steps to find my way into the music industry. And in 2006, I was hired by Sony Music and helped form the commercial music group with a bunch of incredibly talented people. A similar moment, but different themed, occurred in 2020 when the pandemic hit. Just moved my career from New York to Texas because one of my children told me that I lived in New York and visited them on the weekends. And I heard that, I felt that. And so I was in the midst of trying to turn a business around that was an event-based business that I'd taken an equity stake in at the end of 2019.
In New York?
No, in Fort Worth.
Okay.
Within 6 months, the industry was crushed. And my partners and I were working to figure out how to turn that business around. It was a turnaround we did not forecast, obviously. But I also lost my dad to COVID very early in the pandemic. And that was another kind of catalytic moment where crisis on the company side and managing a crisis within my family, it led me to kind of wonder why I was making the decisions I was making. You know, what did I really value? And what kind of legacy did I want to leave? And it was coming out of that, which was there's silver linings in that story. We saved the company. We produced, one of the first COVID era drive-in music experiences with Garth Brooks, and recapitalized. And it was actually a great outcome. Coming out of that, I parted ways with the company and went to Berkeley. And it was as much a curiosity about becoming a better leader, having been a cheerleader and an advisor and a mentor, but never really understanding what coaching was. It was as much kind of satisfying that curiosity as it was, how can I just be a better human? Kind of very sincere personal moment. And then as an angel investor, how can I help the founders I'm investing in to be more effective? Kind of the two-sided idea here. And so I went there, and it was very mindfulness driven, as you might imagine Berkeley would be. Through the course of that, I had the opportunity to do some practicums in the program, coaching executives at LinkedIn and PG&E, and got to do some work with Berkeley faculty, and came out of it feeling a little transformed.
Yeah.
And realized like how useful it was. It wasn't something that I intended to make a living doing. But I realized that I was proficient, and I wanted to do it for more than one company at a time. So I launched Gannett.Partners on the back of that, and kind of brought together the operating advisory and the capital I was already doing, but in a more informal way, post the sale of the American Idol business back in 2012.